please.
Yeah, the start, sometimes that happens. I mean, we were able to fight back into it. I didn't think that was a major factor. I mean, obviously we would like to start it off, better, but I think the first quarter we actually missed some very makeable shots, and then they, were able to get a double-digit lead, but we crawled back into it. The story is, the second chance opportunities. We actually did force them. I don't have the percentage on shots without an offensive rebound, but I thought we defended, fairly well, particularly in the last 5 minutes of the second quarter on through the second half. We just were not able to come up with, those finishing rebounds. And it was kind of a mix, a highlight film gone bad of either missed blockouts, bobbled balls, tip balls, or two guys there, and they were able to just come up with the rebound. And if they did come up with the rebound, they also were able to turn those into scores. Many of those momentum-breaking, scores. So you do have to give them credit. I think Quin has done a real good job of just creating an identity for that team. They're different just in terms of how they really try to crash and get second opportunities, and that was costly today.
You guys have been a good defensive rebounding team for most of the season, and recently there's been some slippage. What would you point to as maybe the reason?
I don't know, but we're going to get to the film on it. I've said this before. We are a good defensive rebounding team, and I would say there's probably been a little bit more than a half dozen times this season, maybe 8 to 10 times when we have not rebounded, where it's just been absolutely crippling, in terms of how it's hurt us. So that we definitely have to, get to the film and go back to all the fundamentals. We knew coming into this game that this game would be decided, ball in the air, ball on the floor, and it certainly was.
He still didn't shoot well from three, but is there anything that wasn't happening with the defense that made it so Trae could look more comfortable than he usually looks against these guys?
They have some longer players, than they've had before. A lot of switchable guys. So some of these, triggers that you would previously be able to get, I think they shore up some of that with their length. Capella, does a great job of traffic copying stuff in the paint. But they just had a lot of long bodies, to be able to, even if you had an opening, they would close the opening pretty quickly or deflect a ball, or you'd miss a moment because of that length. But again, I think even with some of the missed open shots that we had a lot of shots that were not point blank, but they were at the rim, that they challenged with their length. But those were still, some of those were makeable shots. We missed a lot of those. But still, this would have been in our wheelhouse, to grind one out in the mud if we were able to find a way to at least break even, on the glass.
So as a team that sent a lot of doubles at Bam on the roll in the past, and it seemed like they did that a little bit. Did you feel it took it out of your offense a little bit? Some of your triggers with some of the stuff they were throwing?
A little bit, and some of the switching. It was a little bit of both. But they were definitely, with their length, it made them look like they were in two places at once. Because for the most part, they would try to stay at home on our three-point shooters, regardless of the coverage. But it wasn't like they were leaving the paint wide open.
Spo, a lot was made of what the feel of this was going to be like, this opportunity. What is the regrouping going to be like going into the next opportunity?
Hey, at least we have a lot of experience. We've had a lot of ups and downs this season. Nothing about this season has been easy, so we're gonna do this the hard way. We're gonna get back to work tomorrow, regroup, put our arms around each other, get to the film, and get better from this.
Obviously, the result was the main thing today, but encouraging to see Kyle do what he did today and play over 30 minutes and finish with over 30 points.
Well, there's no doubt about it. He's an incredible competitor. you know, and I think this has been a very intelligent, reasonable plan the last 6 weeks, and it's really allowed him to be healthy and to be able to move in a way like this, you know, for these kind of moments. If he can move, he's a competitor. You know, he's had so many monster moments over the course of his career. It's really about his health and being able to move.
So you mentioned with the rebounding, sometimes the ball just doesn't bounce your way. When the number is and the discrepancy is that big, how much of it is just effort?
Yeah, I don't know. There were some that we missed blockouts, and then, like I said, it was like that's at one point it was a comedy of errors, you know, deflections, missed balls through our hands, even when we had blockouts or two guys there and they would end up with the ball. I don't think it's easy to say it was an effort thing. You know, I think our guys were battling for sure, but you also have to do things right, and you also have to come up with the ball at times. You know, if it's 50-50 or 60-40 and the advantage is not in our favor, you know, to win really important games, sometimes you have to come up with some of those balls. And the loose balls, the tip balls, the ones where they got a rebound and that turned into a cut, you know, all those things we can do much better. Okay, thank you.
You know, I just wanted us to compete, you know, and there's some things that we've been trying to do that, you know, we wanted to do more of. You know, they're a hard team for us to defend. They're really physical, and they're even harder to score against. So I thought one of the keys for us was, you know, I think second actions and moving the ball, and that's hard to do when you got Bam switching in pick and roll and, you know, spreading out in front of you, and it's not easy. But I think our guys kind of, you know, we stayed together, and we continued to kind of, wasn't always pretty, but we kept playing and kept executing and trying. And I think over the course of the game that paid off for us.
This might be the same thing, but why is Sadiq a good fit here, and how does he change this team from what it was before he got here?
You know, I love Sadiq, and I agree with everything you said. You know, I think our team itself, you know, we have to look at this group as a team. And there's a lot of singular players on a team, but the strength of this team, you know, is becoming even more of a team. That's what we want to do, and that's what, you know, we want our play to demonstrate. You know, and Sadiq does that. So sometimes guys that are, you know, they can have an impact on the group. One of the things he does is he shoots threes, and that's something, you know, John's shooting more threes, and DJ came out and shot more threes today, and it's not that there's an obsession about threes, but if you're open, it's a good shot, you know, and sometimes giving yourself permission to do that. And he does that, which I think helps us. And the other thing is he just plays hard. You know, he's going to the offensive glass. He's a competitive guy, and you can never have too much of that.
Coach, on a more personal note for you, after all the changes you've seen this season coming into a new team, clinching a playoff berth, how significant is that for you moving forward on a more personal note?
Yeah, you know, not to diminish the game tonight, I think, you know, for me, it's consistent with what I've tried to say about our group. You know, I mean, I just want to coach, and that's what I'm getting to do right now. That's what I love doing. And sometimes it's a lot of different things. This has been a group that, you know, I feel they've supported me, and I've tried to support them, and they've listened and, you know, tried to execute. And you get that type of effort and commitment, you know, you can't ask for a lot more than that as a coach. And, you know, that's always an enjoyable part.
Quin, what have you seen from Boston in the short time you've been in Atlanta? Obviously, Sunday really doesn't matter. There's a bunch of backups, but, you know, your reserve guys.
But I thought you were saying when do we play? Saturday? Or
Saturday.
Okay.
I'm talking about last Sunday.
God, I know. I thought we played. Okay, got you.
Oh.
So yeah, I think it matters.
What have you seen from them, and what kind of challenge will they present you?
They're really connected offensively, And, I think it's more than them just having, like, a lot of weapons. I think they really they have a feel for one another and how they play together. And that you can see that the way they play. I mean, their reads are terrific, and they've got a lot of guys that can make plays, and they want to do that for one another. Makes them really, really hard to guard. I think their versatility defensively, is unique also. Some of the different lineups they can put on. I don't know who the defensive player of the year will be this year, but I know Marcus Smart. I have tons of respect for him. I just think he's one of those guys that is a heartbeat, and they're just really good. And Joe's done a terrific job. I mean, he doesn't need to hear that from me, but having a chance to see, their group, I've gotten to know him a little bit, and they've hit a lot of marks this year. So it's gonna be hard, but it's the playoffs.
Quinn, I know it's not fair to compare one team to another, but a couple of years ago, a lot of the guys on this group now came in here and they got up 6 or 8 with a minute to go and they started celebrating, and they got just run out of the building the rest of the way and got crushed in overtime. This was a very professional win tonight. It seemed like. Where are you seeing as far as the maturation of the group?
Yeah, it's hard for me to speak to what's happened in any situation. Last year for me, last year for them. This is about us right now today. And I think guys have worked and tried and committed to doing some things, whether it be defensively or running or all those those things that you try to emphasize that. I want to catch ourselves and say it's one game, and I think you got to do it for a while, and you got to do it consistently until it becomes who you are. But I'm really proud of our team and the way we played tonight.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay.
Well, it's when you see the ball bouncing in the direction of the whole game, it's one, deflating because you work hard for that possession. For the game, I feel like as the game went on, we fell short on the defensive end, and that was not rotating. Lack of communication, and obviously rebounds.
Obviously, you guys weren't planning to play Friday, but now you guys have to, face a do-or-die game in a couple of days. How do you kind of regroup from this and try to put this behind you and move forward and focus on that one?
It's win or go home at this point. That's what the playoffs playing is all about. And win or go home.
It's not obviously the outcome you wanted, but is it kind of fitting that it comes down to Friday since nothing this year has kind of gone the easy way for you guys?
No, it's not fitting because you definitely want the win. But this is the cards we've been dealt.
You had some success switching out on him when you guys made that change, but why do you think you guys weren't able to jam Trae up and make him look uncomfortable this time?
He was getting off of it fast. I feel like that was the biggest adjustment he made in his game. Facing us, he was getting off of it fast. So, when your teammates start making shots, we start reacting to that. And, I feel like that was the biggest thing, why he looked so comfortable.
Ben, this is a team that's thrown a lot of doubles to you on the roll and kind of just packed the paint in that range. Do you feel like it threw off the offense in a way in some of those stretches?
Yeah. And, we just got to figure out a way to, give me the ball. Other than that, some of the guys had it going. So we have to figure out how we can keep them going and also get me involved. Black lives matter, people.
Trae, it's hard to compare one game to a whole series, but I'm going to ask you to try. What were some of the things, other than the final outcome, that were different tonight against the Heat versus the playoff series you had with them last year?
We were just more the more physical team tonight, and that was a big emphasis tonight, just being more physical, and I think that's the main thing. We were just more physical, played faster, didn't let them really set up on defense and get on half court. We were playing more in attack mode and transition, and it helped.
You guys are 3-0 in play-in games. It's kind of a back against the wall mentality. What is it about this situation that you guys have been able to thrive?
I think it's just we all understand the moment and the time of year it is, and we know how serious this time of year has to be and locked in we have to be. So I think, credit our guys as being locked in, ready, and focused on the game plan and understanding where people thought we could be and not winning this game. And we took that as motivation and went out and handled business.
Trae, in a league where people don't want to take moral victories, how important is this victory to boost morale as you look into the playoffs?
Can you repeat that question in a different way?
Well, nobody really wants to say, oh, this was a moral victory, because you want to get, consistent victories throughout your season. But when it comes to building the morale as you look into the playoffs, how important is a win like this to fuel you guys as you get into the playoffs?
It's important just because, it's another win. It's another win. We needed this to go into the playoffs. And, we didn't want to necessarily play on Friday. So it was good that we were able to get a game and be in that 7-8 game rather than 9-10 like we were last year and handle business in the first game. And now we're back in the playoffs.
I asked Quinn the same thing. Do you celebrate tonight, or do you immediately start thinking about Saturday and the Celtics?
Nah, what's there to celebrate?
Well, you made the playoffs.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. It's cool. We made the playoffs. We've a couple of us on our team. I'm happy for guys like Veet, guys like Sadiq, who've never been in the playoffs, and some of the other rookies and AJ and guys who this is their first time to be able to experience the playoffs. But for me, I've been in the playoffs now 3 times, and a couple of guys have been in way more than I have. Guys like Quin, and it's cool to be in the playoffs, but you want to win games in the playoffs. You don't want to just be here. So it's important for us to be locked in. You don't celebrate after a win like this. Obviously, you're happy you won, but you're happy you're in the playoffs. But it's back to being focused on the next task.
Trae, congratulations. I'm from Argentina.
Oh.
I saw you in Messi shirts sometimes, and maybe he'll play in this city next year.
Yeah.
What do you think about this? Maybe you will come to see play soccer to Leo?
If he's in Miami playing soccer, we'll see. I definitely got to come to a game if we're in town or something like that. I'm a big fan of his for sure.
Any last questions?
Trae, what's been the difference with Coach Snyder in the last couple of weeks? And you guys have been kind of an up-and-down team this year. Is something different about this? And then what's your thoughts on matching up with Boston?
I think Quin just brings a different speed, and he's so smart as far as like getting guys shots and making it easier for guys on the offensive end, and just so detailed to what he brings to our team, and just makes it easier for us to really go out there and just kind of do our jobs and not necessarily think too much. And he's done a great job. Obviously, we're not perfect in where we want to be and where we will be, but he's done a great job with that. And obviously, Boston is a really good team, but I haven't really looked too far ahead. Obviously, I watched them all year playing. They've been playing really well, but I was really focused on the night and making sure we won. I know Jimmy guaranteed a dub, so I was really focused on making sure that didn't happen.
Thanks, Trae.
Got you.
We definitely got to start out better. That's been a problem of ours all year long, and it's just another day that's happened. And rebounding was just horrendous. We didn't put body on body, and they got all the rebounds, all the second chance points, and that was the game.
I agree.
Kyle, can you just give us maybe a little more detail what it was like out there watching from the bench and seeing the guys fall behind, and then the way you came back and sparked them, and also just being on the court when it seemingly every time you guys made a good defensive stand, boom, another chance?
They did a great job of game planning. I think that's what they've been doing. But they've been doing it the last month since Quinn has been the coach. They've been just crashing the boards. I mean, think about it. They got Clint Giant. They got Clint Capella, John Collins, Akanwu, Sadiq Bey. They got big guys. And honestly, it was like the ball was bouncing right to them. But at the same time, they were double crashing, triple crashing. And, it was tough to be out there and not being 6'9" to try to grab a little bit more rebounds, but we have an opportunity to redeem ourselves Friday, and I think we're looking forward to that.
Jimmy, with how you guys have defended Trae in the past, why do you think you guys as a team were able to make him uncomfortable with the ball in his hands?
I don't think we were as physical as we were supposed to be in making his decisions very hard. But, I mean, he's a hell of a player. He makes all the right reads. Obviously, he's a big-time shot maker. And he even got 8 rebounds. So I don't think we took too much away from them tonight. They got to the paint. They made threes. They offensive rebound, got to the free throw line. It just was an overall bad game.
Jimmy, you touched on it off the top about you guys have had these slow starts, but how do you explain in a game like this where you knew you could win and be in the playoffs to have this kind of a game, especially start, and also what gives you the confidence that you can avoid that on Friday and close this out and make the postseason?
I mean, as far as the confidence goes, we have to stay confident. We have to know that we are capable of winning if we start out the right way and if we rebound, obviously. But it's just I don't know. Shots don't go in. We don't defend. We foul. That's never the recipe for success with us. So come Friday, we got to play like legit the exact opposite that we played tonight.
The Hawks seem to load up the paint whenever Bam kind of rolls to the basket. What kind of counters can you guys turn to kind of still find ways to generate shots for him and looks?
Probably, swinging the ball around, get it to our shooters, make them close out, have them play out of closeouts, and then find him while he's down there. I think that's the best way to give him the ball, maybe a little bit more in transition. Drop a play to get him the ball in open space. There's a lot of ways that we have to be better at as a unit, out there on the floor with Bam. We will be come Friday, watch some film and figure it out as a team.
Jimmy, what was Spo's big message to the group after the game?
I don't think there's too much to say. We knew the game within the game was the rebounding, the fouling. We knew why we lost. It's easily correctable, but you got to want to do it. You got to put bodies on bodies. You got to jump up and grab the ball, and not foul. Play a little bit harder, play a lot a bit harder, actually, and come out with one on Friday.
Kyle, you were mentioning this week that you were ready for more minutes, more of a load. Is this what you were feeling was coming on physically throughout the season?
Yeah, I mean, we did a good job of kind of managing the minutes of the last month, and we understood what time of the year I wanted to be ready and going and firing, and that's what it was tonight. Just trying to help the team win, no matter what. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
I mean, we came out and I feel like just on the plane right here, you seen everybody locked in. No BS, all the way to shoot around. Guys was inside. And like I said, shoot around was great. And then it led to a pregame and just the execution and the attention to detail to everything. And coaches was throwing us a lot. But at the end of the day, this is our job. So, you got to take it all in and go out and execute it. And we went and did that. This win feels really great. Not only, that we're going to the playoffs through all the drama and BS this whole season, but the fact that we controlled the game together, for the whole 48 minutes.
Also, congratulations on the birth of your daughter. But also, I'm curious, when Miami did go on that run, what worked for you guys to kind of slow them down and get the game back under control? I appreciate you, first. And when they went on their run, it was expected, Obviously, we was, up. We had a double-digit lead for a majority of the game. So that's a great team over there led by Jimmy Butler, who I think is really underrated. He's really great. And we knew they was going to go on a run, but we knew we had to answer, and I believe we answered. We kept our poise. Everybody kept their head high. And
we got a great win.
What's been the difference with Coach Snyder, and how do you guys become more consistent? You guys have been so up and down this year, not too low, not too high, but just kind of on that average kind of thing. How do you kind of, and do you see you guys kind of approaching or being better than that?
I really understand the question, but I think I got a feel for it. I'm not here to compare Coach Nate, Coach Snyder. You know, they both play a part in us making the playoffs this year. You know, but obviously our coach right now is Coach Quin Snyder, and he came in with a plan that he's far from executing. You know, he's barely been here a couple months, but he's been great, you know, not just to a couple guys, to the whole organization, players, coaches, staff in general. So, you know, I think just his will to want to win and just everything, his detail, and you know, you can see the competitiveness. He's hungry. You know, he wants it for himself, but also for his teammates first, for his players. I mean, for his players, he wants it for his bad. So, you know, that's a guy you want to run through a brick wall for, and we're going to continue to grow. And, you know, like I said, we got a great win, and, you know, we're excited to lock in and get ready for Boston.
It's interesting, but that is what I asked Coach Snyder about in terms of executing the game plan per se. Obviously, you come in here on the road, and what does it mean? What stands out to you when you guys are able to execute that game plan on the road like here?
I think it shows growth. You know, I try to look at, you know, the teams that, like the San Antonios, the Houston, the Detroits, you know, all them guys that are really talented, but, you know, they're young, so they're able to make mistakes and grow. You know, I was part of something like that, which is last year. And then you look at just the other teams as you go up and up, and I feel like the teams above were we should be, but we weren't. You know, we had a bumpy year, but I feel like we should be more mature, and we gave up a lot of games from not being mature. So, you know, to go out and execute on the road, you know, in the most important game of the season, you know, to get to the playoffs, it just shows, you know, that we are capable. And we got to continue to take the good and the bad and grow from it and move on.
A season high 63 rebounds for you guys as a team. Obviously, you know, Clint led the way with 21 of those, but I'm curious what worked for you guys as a team with kind of boxing those guys out and getting them.
Box out and go get the ball. You know, shout out to Clint. He's been great all year. You know, he's a vocal guy. You know, he's always talking. You know, but on the glass, like I tell him, go get every single one. You know, I'm going to try to get them if I can, but, you know, I want you guys. I know that's where our bigs eat, so go get all the rebounds. And he was able to do that in the most important game. And, you know, tonight, like I said, go get the ball, and we did it as a team.
What's your thought on the matchup with the Celtics?
I love it. You got guys or people, you know, that always say you want to play this team or you don't want to play this team. You know, obviously Boston's at the top because they went to the finals last year, but last year's last year. And, you know, for me personally, I want the best. You know, obviously, you know, just being competitive, and that's just how I was raised to want to play the best. And obviously they're one of the best, and it's going to be a great series, and we're going to go out and try to win the series.
Thank you, DJ.
Appreciate it.